So it's my pleasure to be able to present the access engineering for the faculty, for the librarian colleagues. Access engineering for the university, Carnos Technology, has already been subscriber since 2014, but I never had a chance to come here to have the opportunity to present the products. So I'm hoping after this presentation, if you have any questions, even during the presentation, please ask me directly. I would like to, it's like two-way communication, not just presenting you the products. I also want to know your feedback. So the feedback, maybe we can feedback to the editors to improve the features on access engineering. And also most importantly, we want to know how we can help you to improve your teaching. In the
to sit here because
sorry. I don't get used to sitting, but anyway. So first of all, I would like to give you an introduction about myself. I'm based in Hamburg, Germany, so I'm responsible for the Access group, professional group for the whole Europe. So I'm looking after the most of the European countries, apart from UK, Ireland, and some Southeast countries such as so Slovenia and Greece. That's not my territory. For Access Group, we have 4 different products line. Medicine, so we also have two big subscribers in Slovenia, so Slovenia and University of Health Science and the Vilnius University. For engineering, we also have 2 subscribers, so Kaunas University of Technology and also Vilnius University of Technology. For access engineering has been existing for a long time, but every year the content of access engineering is not static. That means the content is constantly increasing. We have books we're retiring from access engineering. So if the book is not well used, or if the book have a new edition, we will retire some books. But every year we have added always the new books to access engineering. So I would say every year you will see 15% content increase on access engineering, not just about ebooks, and also for the features and tools, the video content on access engineering. So currently, access engineering has 650 ebooks and 8,000 videos and 50,000 images. And then we also have a curriculum map which can help the faculties in teaching civil and mechanical engineering. And we have some great tools introduced this year, such as a DataVis. This is material, the tools for teaching and learning material properties. So let's just have a look at the access engineering. So access engineering is very easy to navigate. Compared to our medical side, I found engineering is very interactive. So you can, access engineering covering all the major engineering subjects, disciplines, from the traditional subjects such as civil, mechanical, chemical, electrical engineering, to cutting-edge subjects such as the, for example, software engineering and renewable engineering, environmental engineering. So this is a new subject. And you can also search the content by subjects. You can search by industry, or you can go straight to the title list to see what the titles are in there. And on the main page, we also have global engineering news. So you will receive the most updated news from the engineering. It doesn't matter if it's industry news, or if it's corporation news, or it's research and the development news. So you will find the latest news on access engineering. So the best way to present access engineering is we do an example. For example, I'm a student. I'm participating in a project to develop or design a car. So in order to design the car, I need to know how the engine functions. So as an engine design, I need to know the the concept of the vibration isolation. So I want to know more about vibration isolation. So I ask the librarian say, go to check on access engineering. So I can do a search here, or I can go advanced search, then it will take you more detailed or filtered search area on access engineering, such as I can search the keywords, I can search authors if I want to know certain books, for example, the Marx Mechanical Handbook of Mechanical Engineering, or I can also search by books, textbooks, study guides, spreadsheet, calculators, videos, and subjects, for example. So let's just do general search. So you will see on the left side of the screen, we have the search results in different types. So you can search by subjects, you can filter by subjects, you can filter by titles, so ebook titles, and you can filter it by type, so that tables, figures, videos, and also by process. If this is a key concept, you will find the definition. And this definition is authoritative, which from the McGraw-Hill Dictionary of Scientific and Technical Terms. And this, and also we always use the latest edition, so this is from the 6th edition. So it's always very helpful to have the definition in authoritative tests. Because it's a car engine design, and then of course it's something to do with mechanical engineering, and then when I filtered by mechanical engineering, I will see there is a topic for vibration and control system. And access engineering contains about 800 videos. So this is the videos that lecturers can use directly into their teaching. So all our multimedia content have a unique URL. That means you can easily cut and paste the URL into your learning management system or into your presentation, into your curriculum. So these videos is to explain the Marx Handbook figure 3.4.6.
Isolation.
So you can also have the subtitle turned on
3.4.6.
or switch off.
Our essential task is to reduce unwanted effects from machine vibration.
So after the reading or watching the videos, the students have a good understanding of the Marx Handbook figure 3.4.6, and then the figure is directly underneath. So I could just go into the figures to have a look. And all our graphs is interactive, so there are two forms of interaction. One is simple form is what I'm going to show you. So we always have electronic rulers on the graphs, can help you to read the graphs exactly on the monitor. Usually it takes a while to download. Okay, so you can move the rulers to help you to read. There is another graph I'm going to show you, which you can use a dropping pin to pin down exact the numbers you want to look at. So that means you can enter the number under the graph, and then the pins will drop exactly on the graphs. Then, of course, all the graphs you'll be able to copy the URL. That means you can also post to the students. And we don't limit print and the downloads. That means all the content be able to print as a PDF, print out as a PDF and download as a PDF. So the editorial told me there are certain books we have a limitation on download and print, but I never received any complaint from the university to say they reach the limits. So I guess the limits is very, very high. We do this just in case in some countries we have a privacy issues. So they just download and print the whole books out and put it on the shelf, for example. Or we experience some problems in some countries. The hackers hacked into the university website and download the content and sell it on the internet. So in Sweden, we got the problem. But of course, the hacker is not from Sweden. But one Swedish university has suffered this access engineering was targeted as one of the database. So that will trigger the alert from for our IT support. So let's go back to Access Engineering for our search. So after viewing the videos and also reading the graphs, I have a better understanding of vibration isolation, but I want to have a look at other content. There are so many content. It's not just from Max Handbook of Max Handbook, Standard Handbook of Mechanical Engineering. There are also good content such as from Harry Schock and the Vibration Handbooks. So let's click into this textbook content. We have tools to help the students or the faculties to personalize the content. So all the students or all the users be able to create a personal account. So with this personal account, you'll be able to save searches, save favorites. For example, there is this is a favorite. So if I sign in with my personal account, I'd be able to save searches and save this chapter as my favorites. And then I can also apply labels to the text. So if I'm thinking I'm doing the project with a hybrid truck with an engine design, and then I found this chapter is very useful for me for this subject. So I can apply a label to say this is for project hybrid truck, for example. I can also do annotations, and that means I can annotate, I can make notes to the text on the screen, and this annotation and these labels and the search results will be saved automatically into my personal account. And let me see if I can log into my personal account, because this is, I don't know if it's going to be associated with the university website. No. Yeah. For example, I already, there is a label open for hybrid truck. So I can save the labels, I can save the text into these labels, for example. And then I can do annotations. I can say this is for my project. So it's very easy. But when we go back to Access Engineering main page, you will see this become my space. So that will show it's directly on the main page. What's my search started item? That's my favorite items. What's annotation and pins? What's the labels? What's the searches I saved and my search history, for example. It's all included here. And of course, if I create a project in DataVis, which I'm going to demonstrate later, and then you will also find here in my DataVis projects. So it's become very easy to, the content can be personalized. And also the students be able to, or the user be able to log into Access Engineering with my personal username and password outside the IP range. And there is another cookies on Access Engineering, which can give you the outside the IP range logins, the roaming passport. Roaming passport is a cookies on Access Engineering. The users just can use their own devices within the IP range and download the cookies. It only takes 5 seconds. And then they will be able to access Access Engineering outside the IP range for 3 months without any logins. So you just download the cookies on your mobile devices, on your tablet computer, on your personal computers, and then you'll be able to go straight to Access Engineering just as you are in the IP range. So very easy. So the purpose of all this remote access tool is to help the users to use the content outside the campus. We don't believe all the users nowadays have to sit in front of the desktop on campus to be able to use the content. The students don't have to come to libraries. The students don't have to come to the campus to use the content. They can just sit at home, sitting on the train. I found the internet access in Slovenia is amazing. I mean, on the train, you have a very fast internet access on the mobile devices. Compared to Switzerland, this is amazing. I mean, Switzerland, you can't really use internet on the train at all. So Access Engineering so we try to promote the usage on the go. And we also have a very good tools for faculties to use the content. This is a curriculum map. curriculum map is designed by the McGraw-Hill editors of Access Engineering and Science, and also with Paris Chemical Engineering and Marx Handbook of Mechanical Engineering. We grouped the editors together to create the curriculum map in these two key subjects, so chemical and mechanical engineering. So if I'm teaching a chemical engineering subject, or if I'm teaching a mechanical engineering subjects, I want to use Access Engineering content, but I don't have time to go through those 650 books to find my content. I don't have time to go through all these videos and images and figures to be able to create a curriculum. It's just very time consuming. So you can come to curriculum map. And here, we already designed the maps for these two main subjects, touching the basic the sub-areas you are going to teach. That's a standard, very standard global teaching curriculum. For example, I'm teaching heat transfer. And under the heat transfer, you will find 5 course topics or subjects, such as heat transfer conduction, heat transfer convection, heat transfer with phase change, radiation, and equipment. So if I'm teaching any of these course subjects, I can use the content already grouped together by the editors. For example, I'm teaching heat transfer convection, and there is a calculator I think can be very useful for the students. So I would mention there are 350 calculators, Excel sheet calculators on Access Engineering with 425 formulas. So you can download the Excel sheet in 2 formats, one international format or US format. So if we go to international formats, so you will see to calculating the heat transfer coefficients. And there are 3 configurations, which are vertical plan and horizontal cylinder. And so if I put into the figures into the 3 configurations, so surface temperature, fluid temperature, and fluid pressure, and specify the fluid property, the calculator will do the calculation for me. For example, I just change 45, then you will see here number is changing. And then you can go through the different configurations here, phases here, to do the calculations. And we don't not only provide the students with the calculations, we also tell them where the calculation comes from. So if I want to know more about the calculation, you will see the formula here. And you will see, if I want to read the background chapters, you'll be able to go through the link. That will take you to the textbooks where the calculation is described and explained. And of course, if you download the calculators, you will be able to manipulate the calculation formula yourself. So it's not like you can't edit it. All the data is editable. And let's take another example for phase change, heat transfer phase change. You will see that all the text, figures, and the videos listed here. Just for phase change, here might listed about 10, 11 videos. And all these videos is with a unique URL. That means you can just copy the link. Link is here. And then you will be able to send it to the students. Other students, take a look before you come to my class and do some preparations. I think there is a trend in European universities. When I talk to different universities in European countries, and they try to move from teacher centers to student centers. That means it's not just other students to come to the class without any preparations. They want the students come to the class, have already done the homework. So do some preparations. This is not just with the engineering universities, with medical university, even worse, they ask the students to do some examinations, tests before they come to class, and then they will send out the same test after class. So with these tools, you'll be able to just email the student the book chapter, have a read, have a look at the videos to explain the figures or to explain the concepts, and then you come to my class, and then we can start a discussion, for example. So this will help you to really engage the students with the material, with the very good materials. And I want to show you another example is with the figures. So we have a lot of tables on Access Engineering, and those tables are all downloadable to Excel. For example, these tables. So you'll be able to export to Excel or open to a full Windows. That means you'll be able to read the data more easily. So if I download to Excel, it's also very, very convenient for the faculties. If I'm teaching, I want to use something similar, but I don't want to use exactly the same data McGraw-Hill provided to me. I want to be able to edit it, add to my own, so my own figures, my own explanations, so you'll be able to just manipulate the tables yourself. So the basis is there, and you just, we provide you a basis to use. And again, all the tables and all the calculator tables, figures, there is a unique URL. So you'll be able to copy and paste and send it to students. And I want to show you another table and figures. So this is another interactive format. So here you can enter the numbers exactly you want to see on the screen. It will take a while usually to get the pin. So, for example, there is a dropping pin. If you enter the number here, there is a dropping pin to pinpoint exactly where you should look at. So this is another format of the interactive figures. Now I want to go back to the main page to introduce you our new features of DataVis. So the reason we designed the DataVis is because we understand material properties for students is always means numbers and figures. So if I'm teaching material properties, or I'm teaching certain subjects and come across certain material properties, and all the students is covered by numbers and figures. So we want to help the students to understand why there is number, not just to look at the number because it is. And we try to help them. If you are designing an airplane, why we are using aluminum, not steel, not the polymers. So we want to help the student to understand the background of the properties. So DataVis is a material property comparison tool. That means you can compare to different materials. And so far we have around 200 materials covering 65 properties into 5 categories. So let's take, for example, one properties. I want to look at density values. So we have 5 categories, for example, metal, polymer, ceramics, and so on. 5 categories. And then you will be able to see the density value of gold, which is very dense, very heavy, and you can also see the magnesium, which is very light. And if I want to know more about the gold, so you be able to expand it. And you can also save as a favorite into my personal account. And a good thing of material DataVis is if you have a material you cannot find on DataVis, you will be able to email us. We will try to, depend how how easy we can find the material properties. So if we can find it very easily, we'll be able to upload it in 2 hours. Or if you have a material you want to be added to DataVis, and if you have all the data available, you can email us. We can also upload it to DataVis. So make the tool, so that means the tools is not set. If you have a material you want to add it, let us know. We'll be able to add it very quickly. So after I know the property of gold, and I'm also be able to expand it, for example. So I can see all the steel is crowded into about 8,000 markers. So that's all steels. So when you click here, they said multiple materials. So, and then if I click to set these dots, and then I will be able to also find more information on the table down here. So for example, because I click steel, and then they'll be highlighted into the table here, so you'll be able to find more information about different steels. And for example, for the aircraft design, I know the material has to be very light. So I can also set the tables here. I can move the density bars here, can enter the value. And then you will see, because I changed the value, some of the material is dimmed. That means this material is outside this density level, is too heavy, such as gold, but all the steels, all the polymers are still available. So let's have a look at another properties. For example, the tensions, because if I'm designing aircraft, it's not just to look at the density of the material. I also want to know if the material is stiff enough. So when I compare the two tables, I notice the polymers is very low, so very light, but it looks like but polymers is also, the stiffness is not very high. So I can change to log view. So it will give you a very overview of the material. For example, you can see all the polymers is very low in tensions. So if I want to compare the two materials, I can go to the table bars here. I can deselect all the material. When I deselect, automatically they deselect the tables here. So I can select, for example, furous steel, and then you will see the table, all the steel is checked again. And I can also export it to CSV files, the tables I'm selected. So I can only look at all the material properties for steel. So if I want to compare the steel with aluminum, for example, so I can choose aluminum. So you will see on these two tables, the bars here, immediately steel and aluminum is checked. I can also go to compare the two properties into one figures. I mean, we can do for example, in the X-ray, X-axis, and I can choose density, and on the Y, I can choose tensions. You will see the steel and aluminum is appeared into one. But I can also delete easily. So we can compare up to 5 properties into one page. So if I want to add, for example, also the fracture toughness, I can also add cost. That's also very useful for the students. If I'm designing something, I want to know if it's too expensive. For example, gold is too expensive. It's impossible for us to build an airplane out of gold. So there are up to 5 properties on the same page. And then I can save the page. I can add a description to the page, and I can save the page. I'm also be able to save the projects. So if this is airplane craft projects, I might be able to save as a description and also save the projects. So on DataVis main page, you will find some sample DataVis projects. For example, aerospace structure that's also designed by our editors. So if I'm teaching or if I'm using this data comparison project tools here, and then I can manipulate the data myself. I don't have to use it exactly as it's showed. I can also change the data myself. And then be able to export the page and be able to save the page and also share with my colleagues. Okay, so this is just a very quick overview of Access Engineering. Before this presentation, I also talked to colleagues here, and I want to introduce you another platform, Access Science. So when we look at Access Engineering and Access Science, Access Engineering is most for the senior students, so third and fourth year and master students who already have certain engineering background or knowledge. But for the junior students, such as first and second year, Access Engineering, first of all, the book titles on Access Engineering is mainly for the senior year students. So the lecturers be able to adopt the titles in Access Engineering into the courses. So, but for the junior students, their book titles are not included in Access Engineering, which are handled by our higher education teams. So usually my colleagues from higher education will come to visit the professors or the faculties to promote the books for adoption for the junior level. But for senior level, most of the title we published is included in the Access Engineering. So let's have a look at the Access Science. But for Access Science, this is really for the, how do I describe Access Science? It's for the students who has a less knowledge in science subjects, but they want to be developed into these subjects, for become an engineering, become a scientist, or even the high school students. So as I mentioned earlier, we have a project, we sponsored a project in southern Denmark, cooperation with the University of Southern Denmark, to sponsor the 10 schools, 1,000 students, the high school students, to provide them with the content from Access Science. So it's not just from McGraw-Hill. They're also asking another 5 publishers, leading publishers, like such as Springer, Oxford University Press, to donate the content. So they want to make the content available for these 1,000 students as a control group. And then after 2 years, after the project finished, they want to see if these 1,000 students will perform better in the university if they study the science subjects. So they just want to see if we can introduce the high-level materials, most of for the university students, to the high school students, will make difference for them in the university studies. So this, but the study just start running, so we wouldn't see the result till 2018. So all the publishers are very curious to see, because the Danish government want to also, based on this usage, based on the results of this trial with this study, to see if it's worthwhile to do a national license for high school as well. For Access Science, we have a national deals with Denmark, so that means all the 25 public libraries in different Danish regions and 55 universities and high schools, including 2 high schools, have access to Access Science. And people love Access Science. I mean, my colleagues at the ABE, our agent Monica, is our big fan of Access Science. Yeah. So Access Science for me is very easy to understand. People ask me, so some Norwegian universities compare Access Science to Science Direct. So that they are comparing these 2 products to see which is the best for the university for teaching. But the feedback I got from Danish universities, they love the Access Science. When I went to DEF Online, they came to me to say this is really the beloved content for students. I guess the reason for that is it's very easy to understand. You don't have to be a scientist or engineer to understand the science subjects. when I look at access engineering, I have to admit I'm a bit nervous to present access engineering. If you don't ask me a question, that's fine. I can just go through because I know the product very well. But if you ask me a question, especially the question from faculties, I don't know what you are talking about because I'm not engineering background. And also for engineering, it's not like you have common sense. Sometimes I don't even have a common sense of engineering. But for access science, that's some subjects I understand. Access science covering all the science subjects. So it doesn't matter if it's bioengineering, biomedicine, or agriculture, or earth science, or navigation, physics, everything is covered in access science. There are no books in access science. There are only articles, biographies, and reviews. And for articles, they are all authoritative content. Articles either written by the leading scientists, so we contract the scientists writing articles on certain area, or it's from McGraw-Hill, a yearbook of science and technology. So it's all McGraw-Hill Cyclopedia of Science and Technology, such as the content is mainly from the 3-4 resources published by us. So the language written for access science is very easy to understand. So it's a layperson's knowledge. You don't have to be a scientist to understand. So that's why it's very easy for the students to, if they want to run a subject, if I'm doing, again, the engine design, and I don't know much about mechanical engineering, but I can also check on access science about engine design. We also have a lot of biographies. These biographies mainly in two forms. One is in articles, in a text file to give you outline of the leading scientist, the life experience. But if it's the newest, you see some of the scientists are from a very old age. But if if the scientist still alive, or the recent, for example, the recent Nobel Prize winner or Franklin Institute Awards, we do biographies for these scientists as a videos. So we have a lot of interviews with these scientists, and also we use animations to outline their life achievement. For medias, access science have a very rich media content. So you will find the multimedia content, the videos in all subjects, different subjects. And we also have a makerspace projects. And they will give you step-by-step guidance to a project. For example, I'm doing a 3D floor plan. And then you will need, the things you will need is listed here. Give you a table. For example, I need a 3D printer, for example, or I need a Google account. And then they will give you instruction that were different step-by-step outline of the projects. And then by the end of the project, there is always, if you are interested in 3D printing, and then they have a link here. So let's, for example, let's do a search. What's the best search for videos? For example, Monica yesterday gave me a tip about coffee or chocolate, for example. Monica, would you like to come here, please? Oh, yeah, it's recorded.
I just lost a little bit voice, but I'll try to make my best, okay? So, we are adult people, right? But still can discover interesting things about science in everyday life. And these video materials help to understand and help to also let kids know, or young people, that it is really, cool to be a scientist. You don't need to study management, marketing. Science is really interesting, and I think you can use these materials also for your students to entertain them a little bit and show them the science from the different angle. Can we play a sample movie?
Yeah, just before we go to multimedia content, of course, it's very interesting. I always like watch videos on exercise. But if I'm doing some searches, such as chocolate, you will find the definition of chocolate. Sometimes I go to Wikipedia, of course, but we always say Wikipedia is not authoritative content. You can find a lot of stuff on Wikipedia, but it's not necessarily true. But on exercise, all the content is authoritative. For example, the chocolate, the definition is from a Great Hill Dictionary of Scientific and Technology Terms. That means, it's edited and published content. And then you will be able to find if I'm searching chocolate, there is 24 articles, 3 images, 3 videos, and they have briefings, research reviews, and projects from Makerspace projects. So if you want to do some project with chocolate, there is guidelines for you to do the projects. You can also find the topics in food sciences, in agriculture, in physics, in psychology as well, maybe make you feel better after you're eating chocolate. And then they have videos. So I guess this is Monica's favorite videos. Before we go to videos, and all the content again, be able to save, do citation, the same with Access Engineering. We support all the citation management tool. That means you can generate all the citation format you want, and you can email, you can print, you can share the link. So because there is no good audios, but I can turn on So basically this video is about why the chocolate makes the dog crazy.
And if you like it a lot, don't share it. So there is a whole story, what the chocolate is, what the substance is behind this piece of bar we usually like. It shows the relations between the processes that start when you eat chocolate and how it affects animals. It's in a quite fast pace right now, but you can stop it at any moment. You can read the screen, and naturally you can rewind to listen and watch again. So you see half of the population will be killed for sorry, it's too fast.
Okay, but on the video, they always, if you want to watch the subjects further, and then they have other links to other videos, for example.
This was shown in a simple way, but there are also in the database there are more complex problems with the voice that explains the whole process.
So basically on the page, if I'm searching chocolate and then there is some related article about dogs, perhaps, or they have some related videos on top of it. And then Access Science, another thing is there is always, on the main page, you can see the trending Access Science, so that's the most searchable and readable results from Access Science, and then they always have a weekly question, do you know? So they will review the question, how often do most of people remember their dreams, for example. So they said, remember dream once or twice a week. So average. And so this very interesting subject. And for example, I also always use the example of oceans. So if I'm doing projects on oceans, I will find the definition of oceans. And then I will see different areas. Earth science, the search topic is about 2,184 search results, and earth science in zoology, for example. And then they also have 2 videos about oceans. One is very funny one. Is it okay to pee in the ocean, for example? And then they also have the latest Zika virus diseases. I think yeah. So immediately they already have a definition of a Zika virus. They have articles about Zika virus, and they also have videos about Zika virus, Zika mosquitoes, and how not to get bitten. So I found this quite useful tips when I'm going on holidays, how not to get bitten by mosquitoes.
Can we play this movie, because it's you will see how more complex issue is explained.
Mosquitoes kill more humans than
So
any other animal.
I can turn out
That
the.
includes other humans, and we're pretty self-destructive. And now, mosquitoes are spreading the Zika virus. Zika virus isn't exactly new, and up until now, not exactly worrisome. It was first discovered in 1947 in Africa. Typically, only 1 in 5 people infected actually get sick. The unlucky ones get mild symptoms like a fever, rash, and red eyes that usually last less than a week. No biggie. But in 2015, Zika, a relatively unknown virus, began to spread explosively, affecting more than 1 million people in Brazil so far. And it's a major health crisis because of its link to a 20-fold rise in Brazil's case of microcephaly, a condition that causes babies to be born with unusually small heads and often results in brain damage. To be clear, it is not yet known if Zika is actually causing microcephaly, but the increase in Zika cases suggests a strong link, and that's enough to cause alarm. As Zika has spread, the World Health Organization declared it a global public health emergency, a very serious category which is reserved for explosive outbreaks like Ebola. But unlike Ebola, the virus has mostly spread via the dreaded mosquito bite. Mosquitoes, ticks, fleas, and other animals that carry diseases and infect other animals are called vectors. Because vectors spread viruses somewhat randomly, they're hard to predict, prevent, and control, and only a few have vaccines. Zika is carried by a specific species of mosquito, and only the female mosquitoes who need blood for their growing eggs. As she bites, she inserts a tube that sucks up blood and another tube that sends saliva into the victim. Their saliva has compounds that keep the blood flowing and prevent inflammation so you don't even know you've been bitten. Inside a mosquito, viruses have to be cunning. They have to evade digestion and gut pH, pass through several membranes, and fight off the mosquito's immune defense for long enough to get passed on to a more suitable host, since they can't survive without one. As long as enough of the virus isn't eliminated, it gets passed on to humans via the mosquito's transmission of saliva into the person's bloodstream. Once inside humans, the virus can spread quickly from cell to cell, tricking healthy cells into producing more viruses. So the best way to not get a disease transmitted by a mosquito is simply not to be bitten. How, you ask? Well, you hide from the mosquitoes. And we don't mean shutting yourself indoors all day every day. You can use an insect repellent. The most common and effective repellents are DEET and products containing picaridin, which both work the same way. Mosquitoes have 72 types of odor receptors in an antenna-like structure near their mouths. 27 of them are dedicated to sniffing out a good human target. Quick fun fact, studies have suggested that drinking beer, having O-type blood, being pregnant, and secreting lactic acid during a hard workout all make you more attractive to types of mosquitoes that carry malaria or yellow fever. Aside from those, mosquitoes love the scent of fresh carbon dioxide, which is unfortunate for all of those with functioning respiratory systems since we breathe out carbon dioxide. We also breathe out another mosquito-attracting chemical called octanol. Now, what DEET and picaridin do is corrupt the mosquito's odor receptors. They block their ability to detect carbon dioxide, octanol, and some of the other 400 compounds on your skin, making you essentially invisible to mosquitoes. Picaridin is just a little bit better when it comes to mosquito repelling than DEET, and it's less irritating on skin. However, if you're in a pinch, you can always use Victoria's Secret's Bombshell. No, seriously, it's proven effective at repelling mosquitoes. certain types of bug zappers pump out carbon dioxide and oxynol, tricking mosquitoes into thinking they've detected a tasty human, and, well, you know what happens after that. In light of this recent Zika epidemic, scientists have been proposing some controversial ways to stop the spread of mosquito-borne diseases. These include ways of introducing genetically modified mosquitoes into wild populations to sterilize mosquitoes, kill their offspring, or make them bad at transmitting diseases. But before settling on any of those mosquito options, officials have asked people to protect themselves and have even asked women to stop getting pregnant in some countries. So if you're going outside and you know there will be mosquitoes around, stay safe. Make sure to put on some repellent. And hey, thanks for watching.
It can be also used for a short review what the subject is about. I think it is the main advantage of such material that it is short. And you have all necessary information in the material that lasts 2, 3, up to 4.5 minutes. So even if someone does not know what Zika virus is, then you can learn quickly. And if you think it's interesting for you, you can go to materials that explain it in more details, in more scientific way. Yeah.
Yes, so of course all the material, all the, doesn't matter it's multimedia or articles, there is a unique URL, so it can help you to integrate it into curriculum. So this is for, of course for faculties we also have some curriculum maps. If you are teaching certain areas, engineering, mechanical engineering, let's have a look what's about. So there is mechanics of solids, mechanics as fluids, so they have some articles, diagrams, or videos related to the subject you can use in teaching, in curriculum. Okay, so any questions from the faculty, from the librarians? What's the feedback about the I just want to know, because Access Engineering, the university has almost 2 years, 1 year subscription with us, and the usage is not fantastic compared to some universities. I just want to know why are you not using it? And is anything we can help?
Is there anything difficult or maybe unknown?
Or can we change any content can help you make more user-friendly? Or is this just the material is too advanced for the students, Access Engineering? Or if any better way, can we help the students also using the content? Because we run webinars, not just me, and we have a team in the US, a user service, the experts of presentation or webinars. So we can arrange webinars anytime, because they are 6-7 hours behind us, 8 hours behind us, and then it's very easy. We can also arrange webinar in the evening. So the students or any faculty interested just you don't need to download anything. You don't need to put into any username and password. You just follow the link. You'll be able to, attend the webinar asking live questions. So my colleagues in the US be able to, we can also arrange a special webinars just for the university. Just tell me the time. We can arrange 2 or 3 webinars at a different time for the faculty and for the students.
I think it would be a good idea to try it anyway and see if it brings a change. Because when we see how access engineering is used in our region in Europe, so we know they do use it. And students are very interested in using especially calculators and simulation matrices, because they can easily see what will happen in the process. Probably they have to also design something, right, as a thesis, or from time to time they need to send you a project to show how they think, how they would like to use the engineering knowledge. And naturally, it's much easier to see what will happen if I change one factor instead of reading the whole book and trying to guess how it is. So, that's why we think you can have better benefit. And we need to find out together what to make to happen it here. At this
How can we
university.
help you to, as a librarian, we can help you to promoting the material such as the brochures, posters. We can send it here. We can also get some chocolate, I think. Well, I
Yes,
think,
this-
yeah, exactly.
But don't give it to dogs or cats.
No. But we have some chocolate, so we can.
I have one
Yeah,
question.
please.
How is the login? The teachers and the students can access this database through the KTU network or
And should be able to, I mean, if you are on campus, is within the IP range, you should be able to log in anywhere without any problem if it's in the IP range.
Yes, access engineering is accessed via IP range.
Unlimited access here.
At home, they can access via VPN. And
Yes.
access science we didn't have, but
So for access engineering on campus, they can use by IP, but outside campus, even through VPN or through the roaming passport. So this.
the login is necessary in each time? Yeah?
no. It's, if
Web-
you
website.
If you access it through a KTU network, it's
accessible
The login is not
directly.
necessary, yes.
It's directly accessible.
And I think the main thing, the usage is not high, is because you don't know it, the students that don't know the materials here, and the faculty don't know exactly what's in access engineering. I mean, when I talk into different faculties, not just for engineering universities, I talk also to one of the university in Norway, they have access medicine. I talked to the head of the faculties, and then they have access medicine for 10 years, and she doesn't know access medicine at all. Of course, if the faculty don't know, they don't ask the students to try. I was students myself, all I think about is pass my examinations. So if my teacher don't name me to see, go have a look at access engineering. They have some good content, can help you to understand the subjects. And then the
in
students.
an interesting way, because this is important, that it's not another book. You have to study, make notes, and pass the exam. No. So it makes learning and teaching more pleasant, more interesting.
But I mean, to learn, that's also up to faculty. If you want to adopt certain titles on access engineering in your teaching, that's also possible because we have textbook in there. These textbooks are really adopting titles for the teaching across Europe. So it's not just for reference book. Of course, when you look at the Paris and the Marx, they are reference book. So that being used not by faculties, also by students, by professionals. But there are a lot of textbooks can be used. There are 650 books in there. And we are increasing the books all the time. So,
And you can also use it to students to make them more satisfied with the program. You don't need to make them to read all the pages because there's lots of information. If you are inspired by any of the information that is in here, you can share it. And you can say, you can find more on the subject when you go to access engineering. I think there are people who are hungry for interesting engineering news. I can tell you that in Poland we have a national program on national TV that is called Sonda 2. This is a program that presents science in a similar way to the way McGraw-Hill does it. And this program has around 1 million viewers. And the program lasts for 20 minutes. One episode is for 20 minutes. It's very popular. So I believe you have your own popular tool here, and please use it. I think we can also send you posters. Yeah,
I will send some brochures and posters
you can
to
stick
librarians.
it to the walls to make people know that there is access engineering. In one of the universities, they have this rolling frames with posters, and they move it from place to place at the university. So the frame follows students, and students follow frames. And in frames, you have pictures from access product and information. You can find more in the library. So there is promotion of good teaching, good learning, and also the role of the library, because This is one organism. If you cooperate, you'll be good.
And also for librarians, all the content is discoverable. We provide you very high quality MARC records. You can integrate it into all the discovery systems.
And as you are here, you are teachers probably as well, right? So if you use some of the material here and questions, you have one complete lesson prepared already. So you can display the question from the database and start a discussion to see how people think. After some time, you can show the answer and again have a discussion. Why is it correct? Why people who thought in a different way are not correct? And then you can play a video material or present a fragment of a text to prove the scientific data behind such reasoning. So this is also help for teachers.
I mean, for McGraw-Hill, and our principle is not just to provide you with the content. We also provide you with we try to make the content, use of the content as easy as possible. So from the navigation of the website, from all the content, the URL link, to the content, the integration of the curriculum into the learning management systems, it's all very easily done. So that's why we are not just a content provider, we also provide you a tool to use the content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because there is lots of content in the market, but you don't have time, you need to sleep, right? And you need to work. Then why not to use something like that that is already ready and in place?
It's already available. So, but anyway, if you need more support from my side or from McGraw-Hill, from our company side, we would always love to help. Most of the time, faculty is so busy. You're busy with teaching, you're busy with researching.
With writing.
You don't have time with writing, and you don't have time really to contact, but we are here to really to help you to, not just you go to students. We have a team sitting in our US office, they are ready to do webinars for the university, for not just for faculties, for students as well. Just let me know the time, what's the best time to arrange the webinars. We can arrange the webinars.
A couple of times we can do it.
Yeah, I can do daytime, they can do evening time, we can do 24 hours. So if we can provide the 3 session times, so 2 during the day, 1 in the evening, for example, and then the students, the faculty, when you have time, just to click the link and join the webinar.
And I can bet that there will be people who will be asking, I didn't know that we have something like that.
Yeah, it's always like this.
Can we use it more?
Yeah.
Because it also answers some questions young people who start studying science may have. You know everything, they know little, they know this portion.
Yeah.
And they have different ideas that go this way. Very often when I visit universities and I'm able to understand the language they speak, I start listening to the conversation between working groups. Believe me, they have lots of dilemmas, and
students.
They are like young Einsteins, talking, and I usually ask, guys, do you know that you will find answer to your questions in the Access Engineering? Do you use it? Or maybe you will have a chance to use it. So
our market feedback to Access Engineering is very good. We have a national deal with India in 2015. So more than 300 institutions, so it's everybody in India, have access to Access Engineering. And then for Europe, we also, for example, in Germany, this year I have 3 new customers, including TU Aachen, and Bauhaus University, Weimar, but I guess for the pricing for Germany, the feedback is too high. And that's why some of the key TU universities, TU is not subscribing, but interest there. I mean, in Scandinavian countries, the Royal Institute of Technology, Sweden, is our customer for a couple of years already. So, and then Italy, I just had 2 new subscribers yesterday. So everybody is looking.
I would say that you are lucky, in those lucky group that could subscribe to this kind of tool.
No, I don't mean it's lucky, I
mean lucky because they have fundings for using this, so they are in the lucky groups. So I think you will love Access Engineering.
Just try.
Just
If
sometime.
any feedback, any content improvement, please let me know. Let the librarian know, and then they have my content. Any suggestion to the change of the content, I can always feedback to the editors.
But first of all, please try.
Yeah,
and,
try to use the content and see,
and
you know.
It like with every new tool, when you start using it, you need to spend some time. If you use it, let's say, for 5 days, day by day, I believe that at the end of week, you will be familiar with the options.
It's very easy to navigate. I mean, you are faculties. You know the subjects so well. When you look at the content, you know much better than I do how to integrate. It's just a matter of fact if you are interested in the content and how can you use the content in the class. But for the navigation, it's no problem at all. It's very easy to use. Yeah.
So, is there anyone who will try today?
Oh, thank you.
Bravo to this lecture. We invite more of you to try this as well. Thank you.
Actually, we do a lot of promotion of this resource, but in this September, we go to the departments and to introduce this resource. But still, we need to reach teachers. Because one of the reasons is because this resource is in English. And
Yes, that's a main problem in most of the countries. Yes. I mean, Germany, Germany changing from so master students curriculum in Germany, they switched to English in 2014. So most of the master students in Germany taught in engineering students taught in English, but for undergrads, they're still, I would say 80% still in German.
so I would like to clarify. Access Engineering is more for master students.
No, for senior, not just master, undergrads, the third and fourth year. Yeah.
And Access Science.
It's for junior level.
For junior level. It is for university students.
For university. College and university. Yeah, for high school, I feel the English level is too high, to be honest. Depends on the countries. Yeah. Scandinavian, usually, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, they have a good English knowledge. But for some countries, English is still too complicated for high school students. But for university, I think it's for junior level, first and second year.
And also depends on the entry level. If you, some technical universities are open only to students who takes exams like in maths or in physics, so they need to have a certain knowledge of science. Some universities are open to everyone when they start learning from the very beginning. So Access Science can be helpful in the second case when they need to get familiar with science and really have passion, develop the passion.
And also as an engineering student, if I'm studying mechanical engineering, I want to know something about environmental sciences, but I don't want to get in so deep into the subject because I'm not going that direction anyway. Access Science is always a very good tool to refer to. They will give you a very basic knowledge about environmental science, for example. If I'm an engineering student, I want to go to the biomedicine. And because next year we're going to have a new platform called bioengineering will be launched. But if want to go do some more research into that area, also Access Science is a good tool to refer to give you a basic knowledge.
I would like to share one more personal experience as a foreign student. I used to be a foreign student, and then I compared myself to the level of people from the world. So I believe right now engineers and other professionals need to work in international environment. There are no only local companies with local capital. Usually, if someone wants to use engineering knowledge, they need to work in an international company. So they need to be able to communicate at least at the middle or medium level, and they need to know the vocabulary. So I think you can show your students that if they use this kind of tool, they will be more prepared for getting a better job and to do interesting things in their professional life. Of course, they can also apply for grants with Erasmus, right, with foreign universities. And if they go there, they can see they know everything And if I'm not familiar with the professional vocabulary, there will be a
there are
barrier.
also 40 titles in business skill and access engineering.
Did you know that?
Yeah. So that will really help the three competency areas, so presentation, project management, and communication. Because there's a general feedback from the universities. They say the students are good engineers, but they don't know how to run project after graduation in a company. So they want to boost the students' competency level at the business level. So that's why we added around 40, more than 40 now, I guess, titles in. There's a three area: presentation, project management, and communication.
You can also use it for teaching them how to use it in business life. So I hope that we together manage to show you a new face of access engineering, access science. And please feel free to send any request if you need support. And I think that the director will be here, our contact point for organizing those webinars.
If you want trial for access science,
as well,
let me know.
And we will see how it will result in the end, feedback and feeling about access engineering.
Okay. I think that it would be useful to have trial access to access
science. Yes.
Since February, because now will be.
Definitely. Maybe in the new semester.
We can establish and access engineering. I hope that we will send this recording and teach us maybe.
Actually, I have an edited recording. I can send it to you. And that's already edited because here is a lot of discussion and portion is too long. But I have a very short 25 minutes from our editor-in-chief. And she did the presentation of access engineering. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Let me know any questions about products, feedbacks. Please let me know.
Citation